Hi everyone, my name is Will Jackson, and the purpose of my speech today is to inform you of human trafficking. All different types of cultures around the globe experience the ramifications of human trafficking. Did you know that there are more slaves today than ever before in the world's history? That's probably unexpected because slavery seems to be a problem of the past. And of those slaves, 27 million are women and 13 million are children. So the purpose is to advance your knowledge on one of the world's biggest problems, human trafficking, and how it has become such a big problem in the U.S. and around the world. Now, most of you might have a general understanding of what human trafficking is, but now I'm going to dive into the definition of what human trafficking is. There are many different definitions, but there is one that is almost accepted worldwide. In the book Human Trafficking, Human Misery, The Global Trade in Human Beings, written by Alexis Aronowitz in 2009, she defined it as the recruitment, transportation, harboring, or receipt of people by the use of force or coercion for the purpose of exploitation for payments or benefits. Now this exploitation is mostly carried out by gangs and big crime organizations for money or other types of benefits. Now, human trafficking is a general term, but there are different types of human trafficking. This includes child soldiers, organ trafficking, forced marriage, illegal adoptions, labor slaves, and sex slaves. Now, the definition is important, but understanding the origin of where human trafficking comes from is also very important. The early forms of human trafficking existed in the earliest societies. In the book Human Trafficking, written by Catherine Colin DuPont in 2009, she states, "The depictions of slavery in Judeo-Christian Old and New Testaments, in the Muslim Quran, and in the classical texts of ancient Greece and Rome." The early forms of human trafficking are also found in the early years of Asia, Africa, Europe, and pre-Columbian America. Now, these early forms were mostly prisoners of war used for labor or sexual purposes. Now that we know that the origin is ancient, it is important to understand how the problem has spread. So the spreading has increased along with the advances in society in general and in the economy and trade market. So human trafficking started as a single society idea, which means nothing over international borders, but now it is a multinational issue. Maggie Lee states in the book Trafficking and Global Crime Control, which was written in 2011, that the social, cultural, and technological conditions of globalization have arguably created new and favorable contexts for human trafficking. Crime organizations take advantage of the deregulation of trade and businesses so that these human trafficking organizations can profit. An important fact to know is human trafficking rings are 80% women, and 70% of those women are used for sexual purposes. Over time, the trend of the people taken into these human trafficking rings have changed from prisoners of war to mostly women and children now. Now that we know how it has spread, it is important to what areas it has spread to. So, human trafficking can go undetected for many reasons because it is such a worldwide issue. In the book Human Trafficking Reconsidered, Rethinking the Problem, Envisioning New Solutions, which was written in 2014 by Kimberly K. Huang and Rosel Salazar Pereñas, they state, "Solutions call for not only the rescue of victims, but the disciplining of these victims by retraining them to find a morally respectful job." A problem with this is that victims who are brought in by the police are not citizens of where they are caught because of the multinational issue. So they are sent back to their hometowns, and then there's a big chance that they rejoin the human trafficking rings. Two of the biggest reasons why children and women are taken into these rings are from deception and lying from people close to them or their families. An example of this is Maria, who is 16, who was tricked by a friend of the family to travel from Romania to Bucharest. She was then sold into prostitution and threatened by her owners with beatings so that she would not leave. There is no limit of human trafficking, which is why it is so hard to stop. So now let's recap on what we've learned today. Human trafficking evolves with society, and human trafficking is a global issue. Crime organizations or gangs run the majority of these rings, and it affects everyone who is involved in it. Thank you guys for being such a receptive audience.